All right. How's it going, guys? So I've been talking on Telegram for the last few days. So the reason I've been absent is StreamLabs had a update, and for some odd reason, the update took like 2 hours. And after the update went through, so on a daily basis, when I do these streams or I do these videos, my CPU hovers around somewhere in the 30% range. And after that update, I had my CPU was running, literally just Streamlabs alone was pushing my CPU 60, 70, sometimes 80%. And it would run, I mean, I saw it at the highest, it was running 18 processes at the same time, and it was killing my CPU. So I wrote to support, and literally just about 30 minutes ago, they sent the patch to me, and I downloaded it, and, we seemed good to go. So that's the reason for my absence. And, as I preach on here, if you haven't, when I'm not able to go live, come to the Bybit, King of Bybit Telegram. It's where I comment. You guys can comment. We can all, shoot ideas to each other, because, I'm not going to be live all the time. But if you need a quick response, or you have a question, or you just want to be part of the community, it's small, but we're growing. Please go check out the King of Bybit on Telegram, and also check out Decentralized Minds. It's a group that I'm a part of, and it's similar to what our group is. We do a lot of trading, but they also focus on dApps and crypto news. It's a really great supportive community. We have Crypto Saint, Bent Crypto. And we also have Crypto Heem. So it's a good little group we have going out there. So, back onto the grind, and also as well, before I get started, these streams are going to go back to its normal schedule. Just because of the delay, I'm going to start pumping out some videos more often to make up for the lost time, because I really feel bad I couldn't make these videos. And, as I told, the guys and girls on on Telegram, if they didn't get this fixed, StreamLabs, I was going to have to go to Stream OBS. I was going to have to figure out something. But luckily, fingers crossed, we should be good to go now. So I just wanted to get that, get that out and be transparent. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't get wrecked. So, but, hopefully there should be no issues moving forward. So, and if you enjoy, today's content and these videos, please hit that like and subscribe. I'm trying to grow this channel. We started doing live streams earlier. I was going to wait for 100 subscribers, but, I really like the interaction I get, being able to talk to you guys. And it's just a lot more fun for me. So, looking at Bitcoin here, we have a cross of the 100 and what would be the 200-day moving average. We had a bearish cross here to the downside. And you can look from this vantage point, we literally have gone down ever since then. And we also have our yellow, which is right here, which is our 20-day smooth moving average, and our pink. So this would be your 20 and your 30. We also have a bearish cross to the downside. So right now, Bitcoin is trying to hold its temporary support at 9,700. I really want to be surprised if we get a bullish bounce here. Just for the sole fact, it would be a slightly lower low than obviously what we had, roughly about a week, our last dip we had. And if we go and check out Market Cipher here, this is the 4-hour. This wave, it's getting awful close, but just by a hair, the bearish momentum is a bit smaller than this. Our money flow, it's starting to dip in the red, but our RSI is still green temporarily. So I don't want to get too bearish right now. We're going to have a pretty decent square up, which we'll get into, roughly around the 9,300 area. So, if 9,700 breaks and we go back up and test it and fail, if you break support, it becomes resistance. I believe 9,400 will be next. So, looking at Bitcoin here, and I need to turn this line red. All right, so looking at Bitcoin here, this is on the 4-hour. We actually got a green buy dot here on Market Cipher. And if we go to Market Cipher A, Let's actually get this zoomed in. You can see here where we actually had, right here, it actually had a short signal on the 4-hour, which is a very strong confirmation of a sell, or of a sell-off coming. And you can see that sell signal came roughly at about 10,600. So, that's roughly, if we take our percentage, where is it here? Sorry guys, this whole kind of break from TradingView, from these videos has got me out of my Oh, come on. Where's it at? Price range. All right. So if we look at here, that is roughly that's about a 10% drop, 9-10%. So pretty decent call there on Market Cipher. So to sum up Bitcoin right now, we got to hold this 9,700 support. I don't want to get too bearish until we break that. We dip a little bit and it forms resistance. And, so I'm really holding off on the short positions because it really wouldn't shock me to see us bounce off 9,700 and possibly go back to our old resistance, which is right here. I actually need to rise this a little bit. Our resistance level, we'll just keep it there. It's going to be roughly about that 10,000 to 10,300 area. So it really wouldn't shock me to, we'll go back up, test 10,300, and we'll make our next move there. So, but let's say we do break 9,700. My next area is going to be about that 9,300 area. You can see where we have a little bit lower of a wick down here, but I try not to count these extreme wicks just for the sole fact of a lot of that can be an overreaction, of the moment. So actually, let's move this up here. Yeah, so I would kind of want to change that. If we break 9,700, we're gonna have our next zone be that 9,400 area, 9,400 area. And let's get these moving averages off just so we can get a better picture of what's going on. If we take our fib retracement, and we go from our low to our high, you can see here, we can kind of get an idea of what we can look at for, long-term fib points. As I was talking about on the last tip, especially in Bitcoin with market makers, anybody can do fib retracements, and I don't want to use the M word using, saying market manipulation, but as we saw last week, or what was it, 2 weeks ago in our dip, everybody and their mom, I hate to say it, even I wasn't calling it, but I was saying it seemed kind of likely at that point that we were going to test this 0.5 fib that sits roughly about that 8,600 area. And that is a possibility. I do think we are going to hit it sometime in the near future. That could be next week. It could be 2-3 months down the line. But I'm telling you, with Bitcoin in this run-up, it would not be necessarily a bad thing. Even if we came down and tested the 618 at 7,200, even if we went back up, tested that, and then came back and tested maybe the 85, where we could go back up, or even go back down before going up. This scenario, it's not a bad thing. It really isn't. The 618 is your golden retrace, and I personally, if we break 8,000, I'm gonna start stacking buys even at 7,500, because like I said, market makers, they know that everybody can do this. They know, they know what people are gonna see, so they might trick you or trick us, and maybe we break, even on this 85, on the 0.5 here, we could easily maybe hit 8,800, 8,700, and then go back up because they know everybody's waiting for that perfect price target of 8,500, and that may not happen. So I'm personally, I base everything on situational. Bitcoin isn't like stocks. Things change literally by the minute. If Bitcoin breaks $9,000, I'm going to start probably slowly adding some positions in the 8,800 area. Just preparing for the fact that maybe they don't let it hit 8,500. Or another thing they could do, and this happens all the time, is we'll break 8,500 and everybody's going to panic. We'll be like, oh my gosh, we're breaking 8,500. It'll dip maybe just about maybe 2-3% and then rocket back up to the upside. Because everybody's going to start opening shorts. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, the next fib, it's what, $1,300 down. So it's just something to watch out for. So, looking at Bitcoin here, I really want to panic until we not just break 9,700, but, at least see a 2-hour candle, preferably a 4-hour candle close. Especially if we get a daily candle to close under 9,700, I would be looking at that 9,400 area. But as I've said before, these supports, it's kind of like a relationship. The more you keep testing something, you keep, pressing those buttons, you keep going at it, the more likely it's going to break. So, that pretty much does it for Bitcoin. Your support areas are 94, that 93, 9,400 area. You have your 9,700 area. And your first area of resistance is going to be roughly about that 10,300 area. So, looking at that, we'll go and do ETH real quick. And ETH is, okay, so if Bitcoin goes into a major downturn, ETH is going to be a coin I'm going to worry about the most, especially for holders, because as I've talked about this in other videos, ETH, for some reason, they don't have a shortage of sellers. I don't know if it's the amount of coins. I know the ICO market isn't nearly like what it was or used to be, but ETH, when things get bearish on Bitcoin, ETH seems to fall at a much faster rate. I don't know why. It's just something that seems to occur. So looking at ETH, we came up and we rejected this resistance area. You can see where we came back, fell back down, came back, tested it again. So on ETH, your first resistance level is going to be roughly about that 234, 235 area. And I'm looking at Binance prices. Your next area of resistance, you can see where we have some of these wicks that touch right here, where we have this touch point where it was support at one time, and then where we came back and touched it here again. And this is looking like it's going to be roughly about that $220 area. With your first area, and this is resistances, and then with your first areas of support, you're going to have a little bit right at that 192-ish area. Let's zoom in. Yeah. So it's going to be roughly about that 190, 192 area. And then you're going to have your next resistance, your next support level be at about that $180 level. And if for some reason things got really bearish, I don't want to mark this line to make it too cluttered. Oh, actually, I'll just do it anyway. Let's see what that would look like. I like this a little bit better. My depth perception's a little off, so if that's not straight, I apologize. Alright. So, if we got really bearish for some reason, we break that 180 area. The next place I would be looking at for ETH, for a possible bounce, you can see where we have all these touch points. It was resistance up here. Let's see where that wick closes. So, I would be looking at that, that 160 area for ETH. And this is if things get really bearish. So to sum up Ethereum, you're going to have roughly about that 190, that 193, 194 area. You'll also have another support level about 180, and then if it gets really, really bad, you can be looking at the 160 price point with your first resistance level at 220, 235, and I really don't want to go too high up here, but you could expect, or not expect, but you can see where we have these two touch points here, and if you follow this dotted line, you have a touch point here, and you have a touch point here. Yeah, and that would be just about at that 270, let's just call it 275. So there's ETH. And the next one I'm going to look up is XRP. In my next videos, let me know, do you guys like these videos with no sound in the background? I know with live streaming, I'll have a little bit of music in the background, but it's kind of nice having no music in my ear blaring while I'm trying to talk. Kind of scrambles the brain a little bit, but let me know, do you like the silence better? Or do you want some music in the background on these static videos? Alright, so I need to delete that line because it's no longer relevant. So, looking at XRP, just like all the other coins now, actually I need to draw this line right here, as this is a support level. We are literally sitting, right at it. So on XRP, we are sitting right at that support line, and Bitcoin just broke 9,700, not to get off topic, so don't get too bearish yet, but all these coins will follow, all these coins will follow Bitcoin. There is no hedge. I mean, I guess you could go to Tether, but you're not really going to gain value. So we're sitting right at that support level, just about that 30-cent area, or 30-cent mark. And you have your next support area at roughly about 28 cents. And I've talked about this quite a bit in my past videos. If you do happen to break that 28-cent area, all you really have left data-wise, because technical analysis just looks at past performance to gauge, future results, to give you a higher probability. You have these little two touch points here, and that sits at 25 cents. If XRP, we break our 28-cent support, you're literally sitting here with, I guess it's from August to October, so there's a little bit of time in here, but you have these two touch points left. If you break 25 cents, you're going to be in price discovery mode, and it's going to get really much more difficult, pretty much, to call where it's going to end up going. For the simple fact, there's no data. That's why I call it price discovery mode. It's pretty much impossible to dictate where you're at. It's kind of like how XRP was. You're basically, I try to, especially how XRP was a few weeks ago, or a week or two ago, when we were at 200 Satoshis. You can really just, I know how this sounds retarded, but maybe start adding at whole numbers like 200 Satoshis. It seems like a psychological number, 150, 175, That's all you can really hope for. So if for some reason 25 Satoshis breaks, or 24 cents breaks, or 25, I would be looking at maybe the 20-cent area. But that's all you can really gauge XRP with right now. So you have support at 28, 30 cents, and you're going to have your first area of resistance sitting just about at that 35-cent mark, with your next area being, let's see, I'm actually just going to delete that, with your next area being at that 35 and that 38-cent line. And this is another thing I've talked about. You can tell, if we look at our data from here, this is from February, this is from the beginning of the year to August of this year. we have been hovering in this 38-35 cent area for a long time. This range right here, basically this line from, honestly 40 cents to 35, it's going to be very, very, very hard to break. There's going to be a lot of resistance now. It was our support consolidation area for a long time, and now it's broken. So it's just something to think about. I don't want to get too bearish on XRP, but if Bitcoin gets really bearish, it will follow it. And XRP's been kind of lacking on the bounces. When Bitcoin had its nice bounce the past week or so, XRP I guess you had roughly about a 15-20% jump, but it's just not getting the reaction like what Bitcoin and ETH received. So it's just something to look out for. And looking at market cipher on XRP, this is another bullish thing. You can even see where we have snake eyes here. Each line has gotten shorter, so the bears are kind of running out of momentum. But I definitely want to jump in now. It's not financial advice, but I would really wait and see. Honestly, I would like to maybe pick up some XRP at roughly 28 cents, but still too early to call that right now. So that just about does it. I'm not sure schedule-wise if I'm going to do a live stream tonight, but I will for sure be back in the morning. Thank you guys for your patience. Like I said, I apologize for the delay, but I have fixed it with StreamLabs, and we should be good to go. If you enjoyed today's content, please hit that like and subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow morning. Thank you.